Hi, Terry Nicholas here with the Wealth Coach for Women. Have you ever wondered why some people have an easy time financially and other people really struggle? Sometimes they can be from the same family, sometimes they can be from the same socioeconomic background or community or go to the same schools, and one person will do very well and another person will barely get by. Well, that's a question that's really plagued me for most of my adult life. And I think part of it is because I saw examples of it in my own family where some did really well and others did not. So let me explain. As a young girl, I had the privilege of spending a lot of time with my grandmother, my father's mother, who I called Nani. And I would visit with her on Sunday morning and we would cook together. She would be making the Sunday dinner and I'd watch her make meatballs or pasta or pizza or whatever was going on. And while she was cooking, she'd be talking about her life as a young girl or as a young mother. And I always found her stories fascinating. Well, one of the things she used to like to talk about was how as a young child she couldn't go to school because her family was very poor and she had to work. And she made a decision to come to America because she felt that America was the land of opportunity. So when she and my grandfather got married, they decided to move to America. She knew, even as a youngster, that she did not want that life for not only for herself, but for any future generation that came after her, whether it was her children, grandchildren, or whoever. And I look at that and I think of how much courage it must have taken to get on a boat, leave your homeland, come to a foreign place, and start all over again. I thought, wow, now as an adult I can really appreciate that. But the thing that I find really interesting, and especially from doing the work that I do, is her comfort level around money. This is somebody with a very meager existence, but she was always comfortable and confident that she could create whatever her family needed without, with ease. I know she worked hard, but it wasn't like this huge burden. So she would talk about things like my grandfather was a barber, she was a seamstress, and Grandpa would come in from the barber shop at the end of the day and he put the money from the cash register on the table. And she'd divvy it all up into envelopes, for the rent, for the food, whatever they needed. And she always had money for charity and she always had money for savings. That was her habit till the day she died. And that was something that she always emphasized, that you always have a little put away for savings and you always give to those that are more in need than you are. Now she had 4 children and all 4 of her children had different results. Now, they grew up in post-World War generation, greatest economic time in this country, and you'd think, wow, they've got it made. Well, what's interesting is 3 of her children went into the exact same profession. And as far as their income level, they were probably pretty level, pretty much the same. One of those children died penniless. One of them is living in government housing, and one is very comfortably retired. Her 4th child married well and did well for a long time, but now is at a point where she's really struggling. And I look at that and I think, how is it that 4 people raised by the same people in the same environment, knowing the way that their mother was handling money and the way the father was respecting her enough to say, you handle it, and how 3 can have one result and only one really following in her footsteps. And that's something that's really fascinated me. And I really believe that financial freedom is there for everyone if you make the right decisions. And that's why I do the work I do. That's why I'm very passionate about helping people and teaching them how to make those right decisions. My uncle, the one who was successful, I feel successful, told me that even as a young man, right after starting his business, he started saving for retirement. Now, his brothers thought he was nuts and made fun of him and said, oh, He's got the last dollar he ever earned. Well, maybe he does, but he also, like his mother, had money for savings and had money for charity, lived a nice life. He and my aunt, they did whatever they wanted to do within their means. He had money set aside for college for his kids, and he didn't earn any more money than his brothers. He just made different decisions. So I'm using this as an example because it's something that I lived through. I saw the difference with people who don't communicate about money. They end up, the only communication is fighting over it and creating a lot of stress. Then it becomes like this power play. And the difference between that and somebody who has an ease and a grace around money and a comfort level and a confidence that no matter what life throws at them, they're going to stand on their own 2 feet. And that was my grandmother. Her expression was, if you can work with your hands, you'll never be hungry. And as a kid, I didn't understand what that meant, but today I realize it means if you're self-sufficient, you'll always be okay. I really believe that, and I do believe that it isn't what you earn, it's what you do with what you earn. And when you make smart decisions, you're living your life by design, not by default. So if you'd like to learn more, I'm more than happy to talk to you. You can click below to the link to set up a time for a money makeover conversation. There's no cost or obligation. And I'd love to learn your story and see if there's any way that I can help you. So, Terry Nicholas from the Wealth Coach for Women, remember, live your life by design, not by default. Thank you.